Hi everyone, my name is Bhavani Krishnan and today I'm going to be reviewing paintings from my upcoming studio sale on June 26th. I will have about 35 paintings, both still life and landscape, and they're all painted from life. So let's get to it. There are two large paintings, both 16 by 20 inches. This is the first one, and in this painting I wanted to create a feeling of abundance of flowers because it was a really large bouquet that I received, and but I didn't want it to look like a million small flowers, each defined to the same extent. So I kind of tried to create a flow within the painting by having brush strokes that move freely from one flower to the next. This is the other 16 by 20 inch painting, and this was a plein air painting. It was a cloudy day and the sun was coming in and out with mostly no sun, so it was a very challenging plein air painting because I wasn't sure where I wanted to keep the sunlight and the light kept changing on me. But plein air is like that. I did a bunch of still life paintings in January. They were all painted from life. It was part of a daily painting challenge, and across the month I had a few themes repeat in my work. So one of it was exploring different colors. I have a whole bunch of paintings with the color red. So the first one is this one of strawberries. I really enjoyed being very loose and free with this. Most of the strawberries are not that defined. There's only a few that have details in them. So this was really fun to paint. This is another painting. Like, the biggest challenge in this painting was to capture the saturation of the reds while still making it look like sunlight hitting on the flower. I painted a lot of flowers in January, and this was one of them. And my goal was always to be loose and as free as possible. I really was drawn to experimenting with patterns. So I did this flowers on a checkered cloth. I wanted to explore creating a pattern without painstakingly painting each little square, like how to make it look loose and free but still read as a pattern. So this was an experiment in that. Like, I was really drawn to simple and graphic shapes in January. So this is one I did that had a lot of flowers again, but they are basically grouped together into shapes, and I tried to present them in the most graphic way possible and just creating form in one or two of them to make it look three-dimensional. I really wanted to keep everything really simple and graphic in this one. The other thing I explored in this painting is really losing a lot of edges and keeping everything sort of soft, especially in the pear. This is the last painting with the theme of the color red. Basically apples in a bowl, and once again my goal was to be as direct and simple as possible. So I did a few paintings that had the theme of the color red, and then there are a few I did the color blue. So here's one I did that has the blue. My whole idea was to have something really complex but to present it in a very simple way. Yeah, I had a lot of fun painting this. Here is another one that again features blue, and I tried to use pattern, and also, like, I try to keep it more saturated. I really liked the idea of blue and white, so that was kind of like the theme I explored in these paintings. Simple, graphic, and minimal. That's what I was thinking as I was doing this painting. I really wanted to have one where the flowers are not taking up much of the canvas space. So here's one I did where I pushed them to the top, and I had a lot of fabric flowing through the foreground. The next theme that I explored with my January paintings was windows. I love looking out of windows, looking at objects on the windowsills. It's all inspiring to me. So this one was a view of sunrise out my studio window. The main attraction to me was the golden light hitting the houses in the distance. Here is another one I did featuring the windowsill at night. I thought it was really cool to see some of the room reflected back into the window and how it provided some geometric shapes to a very quiet background. So the goal was to create these close value relationships in the window, but still have them like give an idea of a room. Here is another one I did of flowers in front of a window. These flowers look backlit, like they really have a glowing quality to them, and that's what I was trying to capture with this one. And here's one I did looking into the room across me. Just loved the sunlight filtering in, and I wanted to capture that feeling of glowing sunlight entering a room. And here's another one I did that had sunlight streaming in to the window and hitting these flowers. So just wanted to capture like the warm light hitting the white colored flowers. Let's go over the landscape paintings now. So I have done a bunch of paintings of Mount Hood. Again, they're all painted on location, so plein air paintings. So the first one is this one, which we took my daughter sledding, and she had so much fun, but I wanted to squeeze in a painting. So here's one I did at the end of the day, and I really wanted to capture the glow of the warm evening light on the mountain. Here's another one I did. This was the next day, and it was so dramatically different because the fog rolled in and I had all of like 5 minutes to capture it and it was gone. So this was painted at the same time I did this one because I was looking at the mountain, and like within 5 minutes the mountain was gone, and I looked over to the other side and I saw the sun setting through the fog. So I really wanted to capture that sort of filtering light through foggy trees. It was really beautiful, and I really enjoyed painting both of these. Here's another painting I did of Mount Hood on like a more hazy. I really wanted to capture the feeling of atmosphere in this painting. And I have one more Mount Hood painting. This one is from John Street Viewpoint in Sandy, Oregon. And it was a beautiful day that was sort of hazy, but still had a lot of warm pink light on the mountain. And I have one more Mount Hood painting. This one was painted off Highway 35. It's the view down that road is just spectacular. But this was quite a challenging painting because the clouds were going in and out. And for most of the painting, the weather was actually overcast, so it was really hard to judge the colors and values, and it was quite cold as well. And then I have a bunch of paintings which are paintings from the Columbia River Gorge. So the gorge has a lot of beautiful waterfalls. The waterfall on Starvation Creek, and I just love the feeling of looking up at the waterfall. The scene was mostly in shadows, so there was just a little bit of sunlight filtering in at the top of the waterfalls, and that's what I wanted to capture. This one was actually painted from photos and is of a waterfall called White River Falls, and I just wanted to capture this feeling of a lot of water nestled among the trees. So this is a beautiful waterfall, and it was a really hot sunny day when we visited, so I wanted to capture that warmth. So here is another painting from the gorge. Basically, I was attracted to the spring greens in this painting. It's very common to have a windy day in the gorge, especially when plein air painting, and this was one of those days I had to literally hold on to my easel. And the clouds were beautiful, but they were also moving pretty quickly with the wind. So this was a pretty quick painting. This is another painting that was done actually in the same spot as this one. It was just the view looking to the other side, and I just loved the light hitting the rocks. And so this painting was about the rocks. This is sunset I painted in Hood River. It's the Hood River waterfront, and because the light was there for a very short time, so I had to paint a lot of it from memory. But this is often the case with sunrise and sunset paintings. You have to rely on memory a lot because the light that you're painting is constantly changing. So here is another one I did. This is a sunrise from Rowena Crest. The challenge with sunrise and sunsets is that there are so many beautiful moments happening. You kind of have to decide which moment you want to capture and stick to it. But sometimes you also like somehow manage to create an amalgamation of like different moments that are happening at different times. And so like if you were to take a photograph, you would never see this exact sort of things happening in the landscape, but you can make that happen in a painting. I have a few paintings that are done from around my neighborhood, and just around my house. So this is one of them. This was done part of the January challenge, and it was a hazy day and there was a lot of warmth in the sky. This one was a sunset that was done just down the road from here, and I just wanted to capture the color relationships that happened during that time. I found a lake nearby, and this is a painting I did over there. I really like the feeling of all of these trees surrounding the house. This is a view of the creek that runs right next to our house, and this was done in autumn last year. Colors were just bright and bursting. It was really fun to capture the sunshine, but once again it was one of those challenging days where I did lose the light and I had to rely on memory a lot. Here's one I did on a cloudy day. I was over there painting and I really did not know what would be the focal point of this painting. Like the flock of birds, it was really like a beautiful contrast against the whole grayness of the day. So that's how their flight became the focal point of the painting. That's all I have. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed looking through the paintings. The paintings will be up for sale on June 26th. Please subscribe to my newsletter for access to the sale. There is a link in my description. Thank you.